We don't have actual like scoreboards as musicians to know when we're actually like winning or losing or what's going to happen. With art, you just keep creating. Like you might have a hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. Like you never really know. So I don't think there's an actual way to judge someone's art.
The One More Time Music Podcast. Genuine conversations with genuine people about music. Hosted by Henry with a 3 and Playback Ben.
Went from Beamer Coops to Pencils. Don't want this to end, so part that one more time. Part that one more time. Part that shit like one more time. They part that one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of the One More Time Podcast. What's going on, people?
How we doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
I'm your host, Playback Ben, here with my co-host.
Henry with a 3, a.k.a. the Trap Jack Black.
And Henry, who do we have on the podcast today in the hot seat?
Welcoming in on episode 45 of the One More Time Podcast. You know her from Spider-Man and Euphoria. It's Zendaya.
I couldn't tell if that one was going to be good or not.
I think it was pretty good, right? Thank you.
There we go. The audience voted and they approve. In all seriousness, folks, we have legendary recording engineer, mix engineer, producer, artist, instrumentalist. Her name is so nice, you got to say it twice. It's Ashilee Ashilee.
Ashilee.
What's going on, girl?
That's way better than the Zendaya one.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's a tradition.
It was a tough act to follow, though, with Zendaya as your roast.
Yeah, seriously, though. Like, what? I wish.
She is crushing it right now. Yeah. In all seriousness, tell people where you're from and a little bit about like the household that you grew up in, because I thought it was kind of a unique, environment that you were raised in.
Well, I'm from Southfield, Michigan. If you're not familiar with the area, it's a suburb right outside of Detroit. So, Michigan, snow, very cold, always. Mm-hmm. Only 99% of the time, you know what I mean? Only 99%.
A couple days in the summer are really nice.
So super seasonal up there.
4 good ones. You get 4 days of barbecue, maybe, give or take.
Nice.
No, but I grew up in a very musical household, in a very, entertaining environment, just because I would say 90% of my family members are in the entertainment business, and they're all really successful at what they do. So it's just super inspiring to see cousins in Hall of Fame, or some people are doing Cirque du Soleil, and people are, doing all these crazy things, and it's really cool, getting Emmys and Oscars and all that. It's so cool.
Did you feel pressure growing up? This is what my family does. I got to do this now. This is my path.
I never felt pressure. I was naturally drawn to music, and there was never any kind of competition within my family. I got these awards, so you should get these, or you know what I mean? There was never that. There was always just okay, fine. You can sculpt your own artistry and be your own creative, and we'll just support you. There was never any type of pressure. You got to be the best at this. We just I don't know. We just doing the things that we do, so it just happens to be good.
It's in your DNA.
But at the family reunions, was everyone just flashing their Emmys and Cirque du Soleil awards? Was that awkward?
At the family reunions, it would be really fun because we always would end up making music together, and people would be dancing. We'll have drum circles.
Yes.
We'll be playing instruments, and people would sing. It's always a fun time.
Sounds so much better than the handful of family reunions that I had to do that were hosted at a really boring middle Georgia church, and the most you could look forward to was the buffet. That was it.
Maybe a game
and
of
awkward
Pictionary.
Conversations with a third cousin you didn't actually know.
Right, and
but he seemed to know all about you. You know what I mean?
That one drunk aunt.
No, bro. This is a middle Georgia Southern Baptist. There was no drinking.
Oh wow.
So my dad was flask in the car type of shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, my dad.
Yeah,
was,
shout out, pops.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can't imagine no drunk aunt.
Right.
But
I thought that was a staple.
But yeah, so immediate family, were they more, music or performing, or kind of what was your immediate family?
My immediate family, actually, I'm the only musician of my my sisters and my stepbrothers and my mom and dad, which is surprising. But they're all creative though in their own ways. My sister has a radio talk show.
Oh, cool.
And she works in the medical field, and she's just really, really good at communicating with people and letting people know they're comfortable enough to communicate.
Yep.
So she's a real empath in that way. And then my other sister, she's just this amazing mom with this gorgeous family, and she's just doing everything right, and her kids are super duper smart. It blows my mind. I'm what are you feeding them? But
am I hearing a little jealousy in your tone? Perhaps.
No way. I love my little journey. I love our journey.
Good.
For sure. But so what was the first instrument you picked up?
The first one was piano. Yeah,
And
I was
at what age?
I was 5.
5 years old.
That's when I started piano as well.
And so was it immediately something that you were drawn to, or were you kind of like forced to pick something, musical to do?
Oh no, my aunt actually gave my mom a piano, and then I would always just play around with it, and everything that I like kind of heard on television, I would just try to like play, and I ended up like figuring it out, and I'm just like, oh okay, I like this. This is fun for me,
Yeah.
So it just became less television and more piano, and then like it was just every day I got home or from anything, I was just like, oh, let me just play piano and create songs and stuff.
That's cool, because a lot of people, even some people that have come on the show that, started playing instruments, it was because you had to pick a fucking instrument in band, or you had to pick an instrument in strings. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily
Or like the band was missing this, or
Yeah.
the church needed a triangle player.
it was out of like requirement versus like almost it sounded like it was a gift to you that you like immediately were kind of
So fun.
like fascinated by. It sounds like
It also happens to be the best instrument if you ever want to move on to anything else. It's the best like starter instrument to
Facts.
understand music theory and get going. Like
Facts.
seeing the keys laid out like
Right.
that is what you want to start with.
Right.
If you want a musical kid, get him on the piano, him or her on the piano very young.
Definitely.
So, what was your practice regimen like? You kind of hinted at it, like literally from like 5 years old, you would come home after school and be like more excited about, like less cartoons, more piano type shit.
Well, actually, it's crazy because cartoons are really big for me too. Like I told you earlier, I love animation and things like that. So it would go like side and side. I would mute the cartoons that I was watching and try to like make
Okay.
music to like as they were dancing and things like that.
You were scoring cartoons.
Right.
Crazy.
Which is kind of some foreshadowing that we'll get into,
Right, it's
obviously,
crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
which is really, really cool. But so, did you end up like getting lessons, or like how did you become so proficient at multiple instruments like from there on? Like what was the kind of process like?
Well, the only instrument I got professional lessons for was viola when I was 9 years old, because I kept telling my mom, like, piano I just taught myself, and through learning viola professionally, I learned music theory and all of, you know what I'm saying? I learned everything, all the fundamentals and everything I needed to know, because I went to a music class in my elementary school, and I kept begging my mom. I was like, Mom, I need a viola. I want to get a viola so bad. I want to get a viola. And shout out to Jason Amos, because he was the first black violist I've ever seen in my life, and the first violist I've ever seen in my life, I think. When we were in elementary school, he played it, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like a hug. I want that one. Like, I want to play that one. Like, the violin reminded me of a cat, and then the cello was just like, I'm not going to carry that around. And then,
It's too big.
It's as big
There's
as
no
you
way.
at that
Literally.
point.
I'm not
Probably
carrying
still
that
now.
around. Like, that thing needs to pay rent. Like,
Sounded like a hug. That's so cool.
Needs its
the
own
viola just
bedroom.
sounded like a hug. It was so warm to me, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to play that one." So I went into the school's music class, the music program, and I just started to learn how to like read and write music as the class was learning, because my mom couldn't afford the viola yet, or she didn't like believe me that I was just, how kids want to do 1,000 things, but I just kept telling her I wanted one. I stayed in the music class. And so by the time I actually got the viola, she actually got me the viola, I was able to like read and write music already. I just needed to like learn where to put my hands. And I guess I learned quickly, let people tell it. And they were like, yo, you should get like private lessons and stuff like that, like all the teachers at the school. And then that happened. And then I auditioned for a symphony when I was 13, because I guess I was like decent at it. And then I got in, and I was like first year, and I was like, oh, maybe I am good. Like,
Got into a symphony at 13. I guess I was decent.
Yeah, I mean, it was described to me as like a professional symphony.
yeah.
But what does that
It's like
actually
young
mean though?
professionals.
Like, was it like you were playing for like ticketed shows and
Yeah.
stuff, or like, were you like the youngest
Straight up.
person by a long shot?
One of in the symphony that I was in, yeah, I was one of the youngest, definitely the only black. And then there was one other like big mixed girl, but like, yeah.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to
Big shout out.
Samara.
Yeah. Joining a pro symphony at age 13, like, did that then come with like weekly practices and like performances? Like, what was kind of the schedule like for that?
And you know what's crazy? We practiced every Saturday, so like childhood Saturdays were out of the window.
Oh God.
Man.
You must have really liked it.
But yeah, it wasn't like,
No
it
kidding.
wasn't crazy to me. I really enjoyed it. So I was just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, But crazy enough, and I can say this now because I'm not in it anymore and I can't get like in trouble.
Okay.
I would never practice my symphony music.
Oh, man.
But I would still be first chair. People would challenge me, and I would still play it fine, because it was always kind of like boring to me. Not like it was slow or anything. It was just like, oh, I don't want to like play this kind of music. And it took me to grow into a music producer to realize what kind of music I actually wanted to make with that instrument. Like classical music is fun and cool, don't get me wrong, but I didn't want to play it my entire life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So if you weren't practicing for what you needed to, let's say for like your Saturday sessions, what were you playing?
I would practice whatever I wanted to, and I began making my own songs and stuff. And yeah, I would practice whatever my private teacher would have me practicing because it would always be something really fun. He knew I liked super duper fast stuff.
Okay. So it was a little too slow then, like the like symphony stuff you were having to do?
Yeah, not slow in a sense. Just wasn't my style of music that I wanted to do.
Interesting.
I'll say that. Yeah.
So by the time you get to college, I mean, how many instruments had you, I guess, maybe mastered or at least been proficient in at that point?
By college, let's see. So I can't count Didgeridoo because I just picked that up in the last couple of years.
Shout out to Brianna for giving you that as a gift.
Yes,
That was,
give me a Didgeridoo.
I was like, yo, if she pulls up to the studio and I have some random like Indonesian like instrument or something, I don't know.
I'll pick it up. Dude.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up.
So excluding
college, probably
Didgeridoo.
just probably just like 10 or 9, like 9 or 10.
Just like 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
Nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
Did every single one that you picked up, was it a fit? Or did you like trash some? Were you like, I picked up the flute and I said, fuck that? Like, or was all those 9 or 10 ones that you like picked up for the first time and immediately like kept with?
99%. There was one time where I thought I wanted to get into like woodwind or brass instruments, but I learned that they have spit valves.
Yeah.
Out the window.
Oh, man.
Completely.
See, I was an alto sax guy.
Yeah. Nasty.
They
So you
sound
can't-
beautiful.
yeah, but
I wanted
you-
to play, but I did spit valves.
Like emptying them out, and
Freaks me
people would do that in band. It was nasty.
Oh, it was
the
just,
French ones would do it
I mean,
behind
the
viola.
tubas guys were the worst. They had the biggest.
I mean, when there's a
valves.
process called wetting your reed or whatever,
Yeah.
it just is like,
a little too
okay.
I was like, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is too much for me.
In today's environment, that would not fly. I mean, there's
Stick
just
with
a
the-
lot of
stick
spit.
with the bow.
There's a lot of spit
Right,
flying
like,
around.
This is a nice dry instrument. It
Yeah.
doesn't spit at me.
Nice
Like,
dry.
No, I just heard, I never really met someone, honestly, that has played so many instruments, right? Typically you'll maybe meet someone who like, yeah, I can play piano. Maybe they can play piano and guitar. Like, maybe like a couple of the normal ones, right? But like 9 or 10 is definitely
Impressive.
It's something that struck me as like people that speak multiple languages.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It
so
reminded me
cool.
of that though.
That's so cool.
In that like when you're getting into it, was it tough like hopping from one, because I find myself, I'm trying to learn fucking Russian. My wife's Russian and I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Yeah, exactly. Как дела, хорошо, like, whatever. And, I had spoke German growing up because I learned that in school. But then once I learned Spanish, the German kind of exited my brain. Like I can't imagine like keeping all of them like in your brain able to, rattle off at any time. It struck me the same way of like with instruments. Is that something that you
kind of? It's but music is all one language though. You know what I mean?
facts?
So
Okay,
I feel like
True.
it's way easier.
even
to
though
do
there's like different
music.
ways to get it
Right.
out,
There's
the
different ways.
theory
Yeah, right.
remains
Applies
consistent.
to
Okay,
everything.
Well
Like,
said.
like if you pick up a banjo and you've played guitar or even piano before, you'll know that okay, if I
How do
put
I do
my-
a C minor chord
No,
kind of
not
thing?
that,
Like,
not
yeah.
that, but like you would know, like
terrible example. Apparently, there's no C minor banjo chord, bro.
Oh, I don't know banjo.
No, I have no idea. I mean, she clearly says there's not.
Is that one of your 9? Banjo?
There's one in there, but on banjo because the strings are tuned so differently than guitar, it would take you a minute to find it if you were just picking it up. But I was gonna
Okay.
say there's things like
She got so literal with this. By the way, nice flicker of the lights.
Right.
And anyways, yeah. Yeah, she's like, no, bro, you can't actually do that. Like, you would never find a C minor chord, bro, unless you're an expert.
right. No, but I'm saying like you would do things like okay, I know if I put my finger here, that's gonna make the pitch go upward, so that's gonna sound up. You know what
The
I mean?
higher note.
concepts are
Right.
somewhat consistent
Right,
in
right.
just like the physics of it, I
Yes.
guess. Okay,
Yes,
yeah, versus like there's some sounds in Russian that like we don't have.
Yeah.
So like making them with your mouth
Yeah.
is like a fucking
Brand
chore
new
for me.
thing.
I'm like,
Wow.
I can't, I don't even want to butcher one right now, but just you get the idea.
Let's get
It's
one.
like,
Let's get
no.
one. Come on.
No, it's just like like clap, like you know what I mean. It's just like
Clap.
saying these like weird shit like that. Yeah, it means bread, and it's like so weird. But so
I'm trying to get this clip.
yeah, exactly. Jesus, that's terrible. So
Clip.
you get to college. Is that where you start engineering and like recording yourself, or had you already dabbled in that? Like,
No, I learned in college,
Okay.
and I first learned on Logic Pro. They taught us Logic
Yes.
Pro.
shout out Logic Pro.
I love Logic.
Shout out Logic.
They surprisingly taught us that before Pro Tools.
Can't believe
I learned
that.
Pro Tools after. Yeah, right. It blew my mind too.
What is this magical school?
Michigan State University.
Hey, shout out Spartans.
And LLC. What is it? LCC. Lansing Community College. No, LCC. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Lansing
Well, shout out to them too.
Yeah, major.
And so yeah, we learned Logic, and I was just like, okay, this is cool. I just kind of want to learn more about it because I was just like playing a bunch of instruments, and I was like, okay, well now I can, instead of just like jamming in my room, I can put things together with like this DAW, and I can like, make songs, and it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to be in a symphony my entire life. Maybe I just want to make my own.
So that's when the light bulb went off.
Turned on,
as
yeah.
far as like,
Right after high school. And I was
yeah.
just like, I need to make my own music.
And so also, you were messing around with like your own voice too. Like you were singing and like recording your own music
Oh yeah,
too,
I was
right?
trash back then. Now I'm decent. I can say I'm decent now, but like you learn everything. You grow. You don't
course.
come out running and jumping. You got to learn how to walk.
It's funny that your voice was not one of the like 9-10 instruments. You'd think that would be one that like
Because I've
is easiest.
never had a desire to be like a vocal artist or like, you know what I mean, like a singer or a rapper. I've never had that desire. It's just a part of me, so I get it out. You know what I mean? When it comes, and then okay, people seem to like it. Like if it spreads happiness, why not? Like
It's cool.
Yeah, so I don't want to like jump too far ahead in your story, but on that note, like, is that just something that's very casual to you then? Okay, so releasing music as, an artist is very much second to the
everything
other
else.
things you have going on.
And then it's like
Okay,
when I make my
cool.
own vocal music, I just happen to like sell it to TV because it's like, okay, might as well like make it do something. Like,
Yeah, I mean, why pay someone else? Why pay some other Joe Schmo vocalist when you can get the product they need
I can do
out?
this.
Yeah.
do this, right?
No, that's interesting. It's something you talked about a lot. He's, like we mentioned, also a recording engineer, mix engineer, producer. How valuable do you think it is for an artist to be able to record themselves?
Oh, it's so helpful. Like I'm not saying go out here and know how whatever compressor does or like
No.
learn every waves plugin you can learn, but
Right.
like an artist that knows how to record themselves is an artist that doesn't have to wait on anybody.
Yeah.
You can always create your own. Like when artists get money and stuff like that, I always tell them, all right, first thing you need is your own studio because
Yes.
you need to be able to make that revenue. You need to be able to make your own songs on your own time. Like there's nothing like waking up at 3 a.m. and you have a song idea and you don't want to have to call this and go to the
Yes.
studio and do, you know what I mean? Like
the
have
vibe
to depend
strikes.
on everybody. Yeah, you don't want to have to depend on everybody. Or like if the engineer isn't as good as you need them to be in the session, but you have a really good idea you need to get out, maybe you just need to do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's really useful. You never wait on anybody.
No, I'm not going to
major.
lie. I mean, we have a couple artists that, he works with. And when you have like these regularly scheduled sessions, even, right? Let's say once a week, twice a week or whatever, it's forcing you to either hold on to those creative ideas for that
Exactly.
long and lose it, right? I think Amelia talked about like, when the lightning strikes, you better fucking like make magic of it. And it's that same concept of like, by the time they get here, so much shit's happened since that idea popped into their head
Yeah.
and they got inspired that it clearly can't, I'm not saying can't, but it probably will not come out the way that it would have had they been able to get it off their chest immediately, right? And then it puts a lot of pressure on them too. When they come to the studio, it's like, well, you better fucking make something right now because
Yeah.
this is your studio time of when you have to make
But
something or whatever.
some artists work better that way. You know what I mean?
True.
A lot of artists prefer that.
Yeah, it's like it really depends on the person. Like me, I'm the type of person that the reason why I learned to do so many things was just like, I guess subconsciously, I'm like, I never want to have to use anyone for anything. I love collaborating and things, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to have to depend on anyone if I want to create my art and put it out. You know what I mean? So let me just learn how to mix, master, and record. Let me just learn it. You know what I mean? And it can't hurt. And I knew it would give me in the rooms I needed to get into to get these mugs and beats.
Yes, you become a lot more valuable. for
Amen.
sure.
Like when you're just in the room.
I'm the type of producer I like. I'll cook from scratch with people all the time. That's fine. But I love when an artist comes to me and says, "Look, I got these 3 to 5 ideas that I've been kind of working on. Let me play them for you. See if anything sticks. Maybe we can start."
Real collab, right?
Yeah.
Instead of people just needing to depend on you for everything.
Yes.
Like I'm just coming in with nothing. Like, okay, I need you to make this beat. I need you to record me and
You
mix
basically
it,
make
please.
the
Like, and
write the
help me write
words.
the song. Yeah, right. And yes, artists, no one likes that. If you do that, I'm gonna tell you right now, no one likes that.
Yeah, It's tough.
do multiple things.
So, going from like engineering yourself, did you start taking on engineering clients in college?
In college, yes, but not very seriously. In college, not like to get paid. I was just like using my friends to practice. Like I had friends who knew how to sing and like friends who knew how to rap. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I know I'm not the best right now, so I'm not going to promise you, the cleanest record or nothing like that. But I need to practice. How else will I get this practice? You know what I mean? Of making music with people and things like that. So I just like, would invite friends over to make music. We would just make music, and I was like poor, so it was like nothing mattered. We just make music.
Nothing else to do. I got Logic.
Right.
Load it up.
Yeah,
This
and
might
I mean,
make us $1 million. Let's try it.
yeah, but that's a low key gem too. About this is something we talk about a lot is like this idea of like networking laterally, right? Where
Definitely across.
just building with someone who that person clearly didn't think they were too good to have someone like you record them or mix them or master them or whatever.
Yes.
And honestly, you've clearly made like a very solid career for yourself, even though at the time probably someone would have looked at you and you probably even looked at yourself like, I'm not shit right now. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, I'll try and I want to learn.
Exactly.
And can we try this out together?
Exactly.
I still don't know what I'm doing.
Listen,
Yeah.
I would
10 years
never,
in.
Still, yeah. That's why people like, well, I don't know why people ask me for advice. Like, I don't know what it looks like online, but I do not have a blueprint. I don't know what I'm doing every day. I just do it. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, Skate 08 is a producer. He's had some big records. Yeah, he's super funny dude. We had him on a few episodes ago, and he said this, I just be clicking shit till it sounds good. Yeah. And I was like, this is coming from a dude that has like really big records and has, been in rooms with a lot of dope artists. And I
That
was
sentence
like,
is like smarter than it sounds. You know what I mean? Like,
No, like
there's
that-
something to
that clip
trust
is-
yourself to just create. That's
Yes.
all,
that clip is going to go down in history. Like, I'm so happy we have that on wax. Like,
Just be clicking shit till it sounds good.
I just
don't
be
know.
clicking shit till it sounds good.
That button didn't make it sound
So-
better. Try this button.
So many people blew up the comments like, bro, I knew you were like, just fucking around. Like, I don't know. It was funny.
But that's how you learn. You know what I mean? Like, people would call me and ask me, hey, can you sit down with me one day and just go over plugins? And I'm like, I don't think you understand how many plugins there are for you to ask me that. So like, maybe just, start with just experimenting with things. That's how I started. I would experiment with stuff. Like, as I learned, they would teach me one lesson about Logic. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I would try to do it 1,000 different ways. Or like, okay, what else could you do this with? Rather than like, ask people what to do or like, what I mean? Which is nothing wrong with. I'm a curious mind and I like to learn. So
Not to mention, stock plugins are so good now. Like, maybe they didn't used to be, but dude,
Absolutely.
you could completely get away with using just stock plugins the rest of your life and be fine.
So, were you learning all this stuff though in class, like you were talking about? Like, this was like a formal education at that point, right?
They taught us like the science behind. We learned like music theory.
But weren't you already like? I mean, were you sleeping in that class because you were like, it's like, what are you gonna tell this first chair viola player? Like, you know what I mean?
And it was so crazy. Like, music theory would come to me like super quick, only because I already knew it all already. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then we took oral skills. That was tough. That was a tough one. And I was like, okay, they'll like play something on piano, and then we'll have to like sing it back and write it out, like. Remember what we heard and write it out on the thing. I'm like, okay, now I'm really practicing. Like, this is some good practice or whatever, which helps with that when you're freestyling on instruments now, because now you can just, okay, I know exactly where I can go in these keys and like all this other stuff. Well, yeah, they taught us like the basics of Logic, how to use it for like recording or like producing, but there's always certain creativity you can't teach people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't teach someone, maybe you should like put this loop. You can teach someone how to bring in a loop flute, but you can't teach them how to like chop it up and like, let's distort it and reverse it and down pitch the key or like, you know what I mean? Really manipulate it to your own creative ways.
Yeah.
Which is something that is another thing we brought up. Like, so many people hate on like loop makers or like, using loops and whatever. And
Those people are corny.
Like, music is music. It's getting made. Like, no one cares how many cooks are in the kitchen or like, like, as long as it gets made.
Yeah.
Does it sound good?
Does it sound good? Right. Does it sound good?
Period.
Yeah, because it still took some level of creativity to, even if you just took literally already everything existing as it was, to say this thing
Sounds
with
good
this
with this
thing.
one.
Yeah.
Even if it's just two fucking things, let's just simplify it.
For sure.
That's already a better executive decision than half the fucking jokers or not, the ones making these absurd, I guess, hate comments.
Hip hop started with they would take old records that started with
Exactly.
drums, and they would take the part that was just the drums and just loop that shit
Exactly.
over and over.
Yeah, maybe
And then
speed it up, maybe slow it down. That was
maybe
like,
not.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That was like
that's it.
a step above.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's funny. But so were you like heavy into YouTube though? Also, like so really
I still barely know anything about YouTube. But.
so you don't use it to learn.
YouTube
you really
University.
just try. You just like get in there like hands on.
I'm like,
That's new.
That's-
Yeah.
Let's do stuff.
Yeah, because like usually people either got the formal like SAE
Well, I'm also
whatever.
ADHD, so I just really like picking up things and doing it. Rather like if I sit and try to learn, like standard classes never really like worked for me. I would have to, I'm all hands on learning. You know what I mean? Like you can sit there and tell me how to play piano, but I'm not gonna learn unless I just sit there and like
Play piano.
Yeah, right.
But do you think do you think it just doesn't vibe with your personality type to learn the other way, or do you think that maybe you could learn faster if you like? Do you know what I mean? Let's say you want to learn how to do XYZ on Logic, right? You could probably YouTube that shit in about 10 seconds.
If it's something specific, absolutely.
Okay, you
Yeah.
do go for
Like,
like
a key command.
Right,
he's
right,
like,
yeah, yeah. If
okay,
it's something
cool.
specific,
So you're not
definitely.
just you're
But
not
I'm not
just
just-
like
yeah.
going insane trying.
YouTube, what is that? Never heard of it.
She did say she lived under a rock. I didn't know if she had heard of YouTube yet. You know,
Patrick Star.
So
like,
anyone can upload a video, right? Okay.
and you can watch it for free. That's funny. So, you're kind of messing around with, some other artist friends, getting your feet wet with the recording engineering and the producing, I guess. Like, is this when you start also, messing around with production too?
Yeah.
Same time.
Because I always knew that I would want to be a producer and like sculpt people's sounds and like bring sounds to life and like build certain like signature sounds for artists. Because I've always found that so interesting. Like when artists have very unique sounds and unique, you know what I mean? Things about them and unique music. And I'm like, oh, I want to contribute. Like I can sculpt an artist. I can help you. You know what I mean? So I like, producing was my main thing. And I knew learning how to engineer would help me in every area while mixing beats, anything, you know what I mean? So,
Yes.
and it would get me in the room. And then I like out of nowhere got really good at it, I guess. And, people were just like booking me like crazy. And I was like, maybe I need my own studio. So then I got like my own studio. And then I had like 3 at one point and it was just so hectic.
3 studios?
Yes. What?
Like studio owner.
Yeah.
So you were like running this business too, because clearly you couldn't be in 3 places
He
at
used
once.
to record at him. He used to record at my studios. Yeah.
Okay, he was up there in one of the 3. That's crazy.
But then that's made me realize I don't want to be a boss. I like being an entrepreneur because like, having to pay people and having staff and things like that, it took away from so much of my creativity. Like, oh, okay, another chair broke. Let me go, like fix this and handle this where it's just like, I just want to sit at home and make beats. Like,
So you like the idea of working for yourself, but you don't like the concept of managing people, managing processes,
Yes.
the day-to-day bullshit that clearly does come with, running a business that has more than yourself as the employee.
Sounds like me too. I'm the same way, I believe.
Yeah.
100%.
I want to
but
be in
you've
charge
also-
of people.
You've also considered opening another studio, which maybe you should.
Indeed, I know.
This is good. This is good feedback.
I just need one
good manager, a studio
one
manager.
good manager is
Exactly.
all you need.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I
No,
can
that's
call him
Exactly,
once
one
a day.
good studio
That's
manager.
facts. Who were some of the producers that you looked at who really helped sculpt people's sounds as you coined it? Like, who were some of those folks that you were getting inspired by when you were starting to produce?
Hey, who are you listening to? Like when you're just in the car?
Who I listen to is probably completely different than who inspired me.
Ooh.
And who inspired me is such a crazy list. I know this might sound crazy, but I don't feel like any human being inspired me. Just kind of Earth and the things that Earth does. That's what inspires me. The way the ocean never stops moving, or the way that mountains get bigger with erosion, like things like that are what inspires me. Not like human beings. Like what humans do are cool. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? People make good music.
People are
It's just
okay.
like, yeah, people are cool.
Alright.
But like
Nature though.
nature, yeah, like Earth inspires me to make everything because it's just like it's always changing and we're always learning something new and there's always a million ways to do like one thing and it's just crazy. Like, are we living off of plants or are plants living off of us? It's just there's a whole bunch of like phenomenon conundrums and things like that we could go through. But life inspires me. People are cool. Timbaland sculpted a lot of people's sounds.
So like the Missy days and shit, like because that was a
Justin
unique
Timberlake and stuff like that.
sound.
Yeah,
like
right,
and
right.
JT, yeah, like those are
Things
two
like that.
Timbaland's. I mean, he's the goat.
I mean, come on.
No, that's a
Playing
great
with that
example.
man.
No, I was just curious about like, you know, you said sculpt an artist sound, right? So that's why I wanted to know kind of like who were those? Who did you see doing it to even make you want to
Timberland
like
definitely did it.
trying to, you know, aspire to that? Yeah, no, that's huge.
A producer named Jerry Wanda. He's worked with like Shakira and like the
wow.
Fugees and Lauryn Hill and things like that. He definitely like he sculpted a lot of that sound. He was the backbone of a lot of that. Like he sculpted their sounds. Just like, you know, that type of music. Who else helps sculpt sounds?
That's an underrated one though. I didn't even know Jerry Wanda.
Jerry Wanda. Ooh, he's
I mean,
fire.
obviously, I knew probably all the product that he helped bring
He's
into
heard
the
his
world,
work.
but
Hips Don't Lie. And
yeah,
stuff.
but I thought myself pretty like proficient in like knowing who produced records, like
Yeah.
at least big ones, and
Jerry
that's
Wanda.
a gem right there.
Who else? Sculpting Sounds, I would say. Kanye West with sculpting his own sound.
That's
Yeah.
He was one of the very first rappers that was just kind of like doing unorthodox raps over beats that other people weren't making at the time. You know what I mean? And so it
Definitely.
just made his own sound very unique. Like back when he was rapping, everyone else was kind of really obsessed with being perfect and doing like perfect takes, but he kind of introduced that, okay, it's okay to just have my real voice on here without any effects, or like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's
Yeah.
one of the
Even if my
first
jaw is wired shut.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
He made the imperfect rap like a thing. Like, and a lot of people don't need to realize that. And I'm not watching that documentary. I'm like, oh yeah, he made that a thing. Like,
Yeah, and his like flow, the way he was like kind of offbeat sometimes,
Right,
but
right,
like,
right.
you know,
He was one of the
it
first
wasn't
to
like
do
perfectly
that.
symmetrical
It wasn't
within the
perfect,
beat
right.
and whatever. Like
He'd be like kind of running out of breath sometimes,
Right.
But that
bring
would be
it back.
cool.
but he
Yeah.
made it okay, right? Whereas everyone would do 50 takes to try to get the perfect take. And
Yeah.
he was like, nah, I like this first one. Like, you know what I mean? So I like that.
That's interesting.
Shout out to Cootie, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for the footage.
Goat.
So, you know, you started mentioning a lot of trippy shit, to be honest. Like the waves and the mountains not eroding and shit. No, and I think that's cool. Are you like an outdoorsy girl? Like, do you like being out in nature type shit?
I do,
or
but not like for a long time.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause there's, like,
doses.
you know,
So do you like
there's,
reading about
bees
these
and things?
things,
There's
or-
like bees everywhere.
We're in Georgia. We got gnats. And
No, I just
flies.
imagined her like, you know, hiking and like
Yeah.
being around the rivers. And
I
stuff.
definitely do that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Probably more than most, but I'm not good. I'm not Steve Irwin or like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like looking for
No, for sure, for
crocodiles
sure.
and things.
So, you know, speaking of Trippy, you have a like long-term connection with Trippy Red, or like you met it. Like, tell us how you like met Trippy Red and like at
Wow.
what point in his career.
When I was owning a studio, he was actually my first studio. I only had one room studio, and he was 14 at the time. I want to say he was 14 or 15, and he had just like driven down from Ohio, and he was just like, yeah, like I want to make music or whatever, and I was like, okay, like let's record. And he would always try a bunch of different ways to rap, and he just like finally did like this screaming type of thing, and I was like, ooh, wait a minute. That's kind of really cool. Maybe, you know what I mean? That might be your jam. And everyone else would tell him like, yeah, like that shit fine. Like do it that way and stuff like that. And I was just like recording him for like a couple years and things like that. And then he just got like super famous. He loves to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
songs blowing up, and then he like signed, and yeah.
Now
And
now
that's a
he's
story
Trippy
with a
Red.
lot of people. Yeah, right now he's Trippy Red.
Yeah. So, did you ever get like a record with him at all, or just recording?
Yeah, we
and
got a couple songs out. The names, I'd have to look them up.
Really?
I'd have to look them
Wow.
up.
Surprised.
Only
she lives under a rock even with her own career.
Even though her own placements.
Even with like, because sometimes even we would like record a song, and then by the time he'd put it out, the name would be different, or you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
And
I'm
I'm just
familiar
like,
with that.
you know, no offense to anybody, but I just don't genuinely listen to a lot of music. Like we even drove here with the radio off the whole time, and I didn't even realize it. I'm
That's
sorry.
so
Whitney. Like,
awkward. I mean, not the fact that there's no radio, but there's no music. Like I don't listen to the radio in the, you know, historical sense of the phrase.
Yeah, I didn't play
but-
the music on the
I
radio.
listen to like podcasts, or I'll like. Sorry, I watch like a TV show when I'm driving or something. I get away from music when I'm
Yeah, 'cause
in the car sometimes.
as
Because
a
I'm always
producer-
listening to music.
As a producer, right?
Henry's
it's
views do
always
not
in your
reflect the
head.
views of the One More Time podcast.
We do not
condone
driving while watching YouTube.
watching and driving, Netflix and driving.
Watching Houses.
I have a mount though, like it's hands free, so at least I'm
Okay.
not holding it.
Is it eyes free?
Like I can like
Come on, man.
I can one eye it.
So Do you end up so you end up moving to Atlanta, but you do get like a 9 to 5 when you come to Atlanta, right? Like a pretty sweet like 9 to 5 with Microsoft or something.
So random, yeah.
Ooh.
And I can say this now. I like finessed the interview. I had no idea what I was
Just
doing.
blatantly lied.
What? Like I didn't lie.
Is the statute of limitations in place now? She can announce.
Got
like,
your
what
last
she did.
paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't lie because I actually knew everything that they required me to know, but I knew it on my own. Like I would take apart my mom's computer growing up and just like put it back together, or I would like go to that black screen and just like type in things.
Like, the terminal.
Like command line and shit. You were like writing commands.
Do things, yeah. And I was just like, okay, what is this? And then I tried to like learn how to code and program, but I got like very, very small into it, but enough to where you know what I'm saying?
Do you have like any friends?
I think I spoke with the one that she has. This guy is apparently her number 2 friend. I don't know. So, this is something that's always interesting to me. When did you decide to take the leap of faith though into music full time?
Well, I told myself I wasn't going to quit Microsoft until music was making me equally that much or more.
Yes.
And I had a really good year with music, and I was like, oh, okay, bye Microsoft. Like this is cute. And then they tried to promote me, and I was like, no.
Where did the most of that come from? Recording engineering, studio?
Recording for sure. Yeah. Because what was happening in that same year, a lot of the people that I were recording beats started becoming like famous and shit, like out of nowhere. And then like the common denominator was...
It's the Ashley touch.
You know what I mean?
The Ashley effect.
The Ashley effect.
Not to do that, but like...
Okay.
So who were some of those people?
Shoot. That year, probably... Lotto got big. That was
Big Lotto.
Oh, yeah.
She's fucking crushing.
Yes. I love her. Shout out to Lotto.
Yeah.
Trippy Red, Lil Wop, that was the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Late Twins, if this was the same year that I'm thinking of. And this was the same year that I went to work with Jerry Wanda. And I met MIDI, which is like...
So you got to work with one of your inspirations?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. The fuck do you think this is, Ben? Did you see who I am?
I'm Ashley
Ashley, you motherfucker. Wait, so, okay, how did that happen?
I was with like a PR and they like took me to New York. Actually, me and Lotto went to New York together. That was a trip we took
So you were
together.
like locked in with Lotto?
Yeah, we were super cool. And I'm just like, yo, come to New York or whatever. These people are like, they're like teasing about a deal or something. Let's just go see what it's about or whatever.
What, like a pub deal or a deal for her?
Both of us, just like different types of deals.
Okay,
just like well, let's just go see what it's talking about. And then we were in New York working with Jerry Wonder, and it's so crazy. I met Median Mathers there. She's this incredible songwriter. Her like credits are like Beyonce and like, you know what I mean? Like she's insane, incredible. And so randomly, I was in Jerry Wonder's studio at Platinum Sounds in New York, and I got lost because it was huge.
And you're small.
Easily lost. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, cool. And I went into this studio room that I thought was the session I was in. And I happened to be in a session with Late Twins at the time, like the super good dancers that went on tour with Beyonce and they like style her and things like that. So it's just like a crazy circle moment. And I walked in the studio and there's just like this white lady with wine, like sipping it. She's like all by herself. And whatever song she's listening to is like the best thing I'd heard in my life at the time. And I'm just like, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm lost. What is that, though? And she's like, oh, yeah, that's just a freestyle I did. And I was just like, my eyes came out of my head. I'm like, that's a freestyle? Like,
who was the artist?
Median.
That was, okay.
She's a songwriter.
That was a songwriter doing a reference track
she
for...
is incredible. Oh, I don't know who the reference track was for. I didn't dare to ask. I was just amazed.
That's kind of a low-key gem, by the way. If you find yourselves in a giant studio, just start fucking going in random doors.
We've had multiple guests get into fantastic situations by being lost in big studios.
Do not be afraid to be lost.
Another thing about big studios, I was super duper broke one time. Then this was when I was trying to make money to quit Microsoft. So I rented some studio time at Hot Beats was the studio at the time. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. And so I rented studio time there. I rented like 8 hours. And I just like kept the door open and I just created beats. Max volume. With the
Hoping
door,
someone would walk in kind of thing.
With the door wide open.
Yeah.
And people came by, like Rich Homie Quan came by and bought a beat.
Wow.
Like people would come in and things like that. And I was just like, this is like actually working. Like, so just, if you're like a producer that just like, I don't know, Just like rent out some studio time and make beats dumb loud. You never know who's going to be there or walking
Or just
by.
pretend like you're making beats and just play your finished
them.
beats.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
I might add a lead to this.
This is great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd always wondered though, like what the economics were for producers, you know, just booking out studios for like beat making sessions. I was
Yeah.
like, why aren't you just making beats in your house? Like this
Invite
seems
artists,
dumb.
invite artists to
For
pull
that.
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shoot some content,
Exactly,
make it look
get some
like
content.
I always make beats in studios like
Right,
this.
right.
Not in my bedroom.
I'm always in A rooms
So
making.
of course,
Of
course,
yeah.
you want to come and work with me because this is where I am. You know
always
what I mean?
work.
Yeah,
Damn, no, that's great.
that's a gem.
just
music
full
loud.
full blast making your beats. Oh my gosh, that's great. So
Door wide
like
open.
you know, so making the leap of faith really was like a very calculated, like, okay, here's how much I make with Microsoft. If I'm making this or better, then you know, because some people aren't that calculated about it and they're just like, fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
going for it, even if
Yeah.
I don't have the guaranteed income.
She's
that
obviously very smart.
I'm about to say
first of all.
I'm risky, but I'm smart. Like I'm a young woman. Like I have to move smart. You know what I mean? There aren't situations to where some of the artists that even coming up, like becoming famous, they were literally like sleeping in my studio. I'm not gonna mention any names. They know who they are.
Oh, come on.
we need a one more
We're
time
here for it. We
exclusive.
need the one more time exclusive. Ashley. God
But
dang
you know what
it.
I mean? But like as a girl, I couldn't be able to do that. But like, you know what I mean?
Just from, like, a
Guys-
safety
guys can do that.
and
Exactly.
whatever,
Yeah.
feeling
Exactly.
comfortable.
But like guys can do that. So it's just like they can take not a different leap of faith, but they can take kind of a different route. Whereas I had to make sure I always had my own to be like, okay.
Yeah, you had to pay rent.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you weren't couch
So
surfing.
like you can risk it, but you know what I mean? You're gonna be risking yourself if you do that.
That's interesting. So, you know, everyone always likes to focus on placements, right? Like, if you're a producer, everyone's first fucking question is, hey, you know, who do you have songs with? So I do want to ask, like, are there some records that you're like most proud of on the like placement side of things that you want to kind of shout out for people to know kind of what you've had your hands on and you know what you've done?
It's crazy because you can make a million songs, and as soon as people ask you, you'd be like,
right.
What songs have I ever worked on?
right. I like the Kalani Gangsta song. I like that record.
Okay.
That one actually was Grammy nominated.
Wow.
What
Amazing.
else was cool? I would literally have to like look it up because I like songs. I like working with artists that are nothing wrong with like my famous friends and my famous artists, but I like listening.
My
to
famous
songs.
friends.
You know, like, working with my friends that aren't famous yet, like that are like on their journey because that's like the hungriest music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Who right now is that person for you?
ooh, I like Detroit YB. I like One Way Monte. I like Doo-Wop. I like
I know Doo-Wop.
E9. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I have a doo-wop recorded on one of me and Taylor's beats.
Oh, shit.
Hell
I
yeah.
got one with doo-wop.
Who else?
Are those all Atlanta folks?
They live here.
Okay, but
They're from
okay,
here.
all right, yeah, cool. So they're here.
They live here.
Nice.
Who else? Let me see. Oh, Natasha Mosley. Love working with her, but she's already like famous. Never mind. So let me see.
Screw you, Natasha.
You don't matter anymore.
Just kidding, Natasha. You're famous. We'd love to
Love
have you on the podcast.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so that's awesome. Yeah, because I mean, I think that speaks volumes about the type of person you are, though. To be honest, like you could go and list, like you could go list off these like the like top streamed ones, but the fact that you did care more, like you got so happy
excited
when
for
I was
the-
like,
for the
"Yo, put me
mid-level."
on the like
Yeah.
people that are on the rise or whatever." That's super dope, and I think that's really cool, and that just speaks again to like. I mean, you're maybe even a step above them, so I don't know if they're networking laterally, but even
But
still,
networking laterally.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like
Yes.
that concept. So,
Right.
what I was gonna say is that everyone always likes to focus on the placements, but you've done a great job of really dabbling in like other things, that have been revenue producers for you.
I like film scoring.
Exactly. Yeah. Tell us about kind of the other things outside of just like making songs with artists just for their projects or whatever, right? Like that's cool. But what are kind of those other levers that you've pulled and the, different revenue streams and the ways that you can utilize your craft like in the music game?
Man. Well, one of my favorite things to do is make music for films, and I do that in multiple ways. Like some films would need film scoring where they need like the actual movie music. Some people would need help with their soundtrack where they just need, sounds for the end of the movies or like the full artist songs, like not like the classical make you sad songs or like, you know what I mean? But I work with ViaCom closely, and we have, I don't know, I probably shouldn't say the number, but I give them a certain amount of songs and things a year. And it's just really, really fun because TV, you can be so weird. You can be so creative. Like if you think no one's going to like it, something on TV, or like, you know what I mean? Because there's even comedy shows that have like wacky music, or like you can always just like make anything. So I just love making music.
Beats that you wouldn't send to an artist.
I challenge the audience to literally listen to the music in TV and film even sometimes, and you'll be fucking surprised. It's like, that's the music that was playing behind this like scene. Like, no fucking way. Like, because it's not crazy stuff. It's something that an artist is probably not going to hop on. Like, let's just, you know, or like, or you're not going to listen to it on the radio always. Once again, there's shows like Insecure that have like fucking incredible music and, you know, whatever. And like even Euphoria, which I think that you...
there's a song placed on Euphoria.
Sorry.
Yo, she did. she did have a small role in it.
There's a song placement in Euphoria with Nisha Knight. Shout out to Nisha Knight. Oh, and she's also one of the artists. She's in London right now. She's on the come up and things like that. Nisha Knight, shout out to her.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. But yeah, so like scoring film, making, you know, I guess like small. Like when there's only a few seconds of a song that's used for TV, is that typically like...
It'll be an entire 2 minute and 30 record.
Right?
that they chop down.
And they will... No, let me not say that about Viacom.
Okay, and Viacom, for those that don't know, they own CBS, they own...
Like VH1, BET, Comedy Central.
Okay, because some might not be familiar with... They're the big conglomerate of all your fucking favorite TV shows, or TV stations. Or one of them. So yeah, like making
make a 3 minute song and they use 6 seconds. It was like, okay.
That was cool.
But it's cool though, because you know, right? They always pay you on time. There's never any like discrepancies. It's not like the music industry. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You have to pull teeth to get paid. Like, what is this? Like,
it's
embarrassing to ask for your own money.
Oh my God. Tell me about it. Jesus. Producers have it the worst.
Yeah, I think 808 Blake, who's a producer here, you know, in Atlanta, he manages Metro Mars, who's an artist that's you know, on the come up. He talked about like artists will get mad funny the second you start asking for fucking bread. They're like, whoa, you being a little pushy, bro? Like, chill out. And it's like, bro, you already released the song and I haven't seen $1. Like, so anyways, that's a conversation for a whole other day. But for those that want to get into TV and film,
because I'm listening,
because he's literally his ears are perked up. But seriously, we're trying to add value to people that maybe are, you know, trying to do similar stuff. How do you, if you were a producer and giving someone advice, like to get into that space, like how do you do it?
Okay, what I'm about to say, you might have done or you might have overlooked it, because a lot of people overlook this. When I first started, I literally would Google film producer that needs music, or a movie that needs music, film director looking for a soundtrack. I would Google that and things would come up. You know, like there would be some kind of like even a Reddit forum of a film producer looking for like a film score composer or something like that. And maybe they're not working with the biggest budget. You might get, you know what I'm saying, $100 or $500, but you're gonna get like, you can build your resume and build your repertoire with it. Like, and you can find so many like independent filmmakers, especially now because of like YouTube and things like that. You could like email people that do things. Like, it's so random. I just emailed this astronaut yesterday.
What?
It's so random.
I'm listening.
Like I found.
Okay. Everyone's fully tuned in now.
Kayla Barron, I think her name is, and she's super
Shout out
young,
to her.
and she's like a genius.
She's a young, smart astronaut.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, you need your own theme song. You know what I mean? Just like things like that. Like you can find YouTubers like, oh, you need a custom theme song, because a lot of them just use music that they find, or they don't even know how to reach out to producers for things like that. So literally, just the first thing I did was like Google, oh, okay, who needs music, and then I would just tell them, hey, I can do it. Like.
Wow, simple as that.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's how you get started. And then it's just kind of like, you know.
So like you're not subscribed to some of these like platforms where you can like upload music to it? Mm-mm. Okay. Because there are those.
ViaCom now. I didn't know about that, yeah.
Oh, you don't even know about they're, you know, like they're basically like marketplaces for like supervisors, right? That can go get like, that can go license stuff from these like platforms. So you never even uploaded
straight to the source.
Straight to the source.
Love that.
She said, "Fuck those third parties."
I was blessed enough to have. I'm blessed enough to have a music partner named Molly Hunter. Shout out to her.
Shout out.
Who is like, you know, close friends with like all the CEOs of like Viacom and things like that. So it's just like, okay, now they know me because, you know, we work together and we do good work together. And so just like, okay, well, let's, you know, make some contracts to make her make TV film. It's like, okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah, so that's honestly, you know, perfect segue. So Earth Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell the people what Earth Girl is, first of all.
Earth Girl was created by Molly Hunter, and it's just a representation of, it's like an organization and a belief, a thought, a way of living, just to like promote girls being themselves, being their full creatives, being earth girls, like being of the earth. Like I tell you, like how the earth is just so creative and constantly changing and growing and things like that. That's just how we have to be as women. And in the music industry, we usually, well, I can't say usually because times are changing now. You know what I mean? Y'all got me on here like,
That's right.
you know what I mean?
That's right.
But usually people would like, put women against each other, or there's always some kind of comparison, or women don't get like the same kind of respect in certain spaces as men. Or like I told you, like we can't just go like sleeping on people's studios or like, you know what I mean? Because we're like, I don't know. But yeah, Earth Girl is just like an organization, a belief, an idea of women being great.
Wow.
and so
and supportive.
And it does have like a music connotation though. It's like like there's been writers camps and stuff, right? Like kind of how does it actually play out though? Like what are some of the things that it like sponsors, or I guess that are a part of it?
The sponsors were insane. So Molly had an Earth Girl camps. She's had a couple of them, and the first one that I went to was actually when we met, and then we like began our partnership because we were just like, oh my gosh, we get along. Are we like best friends? But
and you almost didn't go because you're such a homebody, is what I heard.
Well, yeah, and YB's actually the one that drove me to it. And
shout out YB,
man.
YB in the building.
And remember, and we went to the wrong studio at first, and then the real
You're
studio
always
we went
lost.
to was 40 minutes away. I told you.
Oh, God.
I don't know anything ever. Don't ask me for advice.
I'm surprised you were here early.
Yeah.
I told him
Like,
that.
that
I told him
was-
that. I was like, I can't believe I'm early. I've never been
We've
early
never had a
ever.
guest that's
Like,
early. I'm going to be completely
I've
honest.
never been early for anything.
Yeah, we
ever.
usually say the
Like,
time knowing that it'll be 30 minutes to an hour and a half late. So.
I was in the shower when you got here.
Yeah, no, quite. That's why I was like, can you just give us a couple minutes? Like, I don't want Henry to come out like in a towel. But anyway, so you go to the writers camp and you and Molly just like vibed out, like yeah.
And then of course she's running around super busy, but we got a chance to talk the next day. I ended up getting invited back again for like the rest of the camp, and it was just amazing. She had like all of these like women CEOs from companies I've never heard of. There were like women billionaires there, which was blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And everyone is just like, there are like massage classes, there's yoga classes, there's like mental health exercises, like, you know what I mean? Just things that women can benefit from being like better people. And then at
It's
the
like
end
an
of the day,
actual
we just
camp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No,
Not
actually,
like a writer. It's like
Camp.
Yeah.
It was real camp. And we were at Tree Sounds. So, everyone was just always making music in every single room. And it was just amazing. Like,
That's so cool.
she actually brought like the CFO, CMO, and all of them of Viacom there, and they were like women that like went to Harvard, and I was just like, oh my gosh,
So
it's so cute.
so she's a producer too, right? Or what is she?
Producer,
Okay.
writer, and she sings.
Okay.
I don't know if she was gonna
Molly.
tell people. Yeah.
We definitely need you to have you on the podcast,
I mean,
for
yeah,
sure.
Like I'm fascinated.
For sure. No,
already.
I think I might have actually
Molly is amazing.
found out about you initially through Molly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because like I had followed her because she just does so cool, such cool things.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
So what's up with that music that you guys wrote? Is that for anyone? Is there going to be like an Earth Girl album or anything? What's up with that?
Actually, yeah, she was putting together an Earth Girl album. I don't know how it's going to be finished, so I can't really speak too much on it, but there are like hard drives and like archives.
Yeah. Very mysterious.
I was like, oh,
Henry wants to get his hands on some of that Earth Girl music.
I mean, I just want to hear it.
No, it sounds fire. So what are you most excited about coming up? You know what I mean? Like, what should the people be looking forward to from you? Are there any like projects that you're working on? Any films that you scored that are coming out soon? Like anything you want to make sure that the people hear?
surprisingly. Well, what's about to come out? Oh, I think another Turnt movie is going to come out. I did some scoring for that. That's for sure. But I know this might come as a shocker, or maybe not. I have like no goals.
Wow. What?
Tell us more.
What?
Like these days, I'll wake up and I'll like accept whatever opportunities I feel like are fitting to me and that would like help me as a person and help me as an artist or things like that. But like as far as it's like I don't like write out blueprint plans. Like I have albums that I'm mixing and things right now, but there's not like
But those are have to do's.
Yeah,
because
right,
you literally
right.
got paid to do it. It's like
exactly.
yeah.
But
you
like other
owe
than
these
that-
people something back.
Yeah, but like other than that, I just take opportunities as they make sense, and then I like to do things where I just like make enough money to where I can just do what I want. Like I think I'm gonna make a scary film later, not right now, like not this
Like
year.
write and direct it kind of thing, or
I want to put it. I'll hire a director. Like I want to put it. I just want to. I honestly just want
produce
to make
it.
the music for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make the music for it. Honestly, and everyone else can do like the other parts because it's a lot.
Yeah, but you might have to manage people. And you remember how that worked out?
I'll literally hire someone for
Someone
everything.
for that. Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't work off of goals anymore. Like
Is that because
And you
you
like
tried
that?
it and you didn't like it?
no, I tried goals and then like and it works. So I just say like they're just things to do. Like
Okay.
they're not like necessarily goals. Like okay, like I'm probably gonna go and get like 2 or 3 more Grammys or something like that. But it's not like a goal. You know what I mean?
Yo, no one's ever said that about Grammys. I'll probably get a couple more, but
If it
like,
happens,
But
it
it's
happens.
not a goal. Exactly though. Exactly. Like it's
Wow.
not a goal.
That's
at
a hot
all.
take.
where does that attitude come from though? Is that like from your family or like, where does that like go
Material,
with? It's
yeah.
like that go with the wind type shit. Like
From the earth, man.
Yeah, no,
I know,
seriously,
but,
it's from
like-
the earth. Like human and man-made things only have so much energy inside of them, and they can't reciprocate that much. So, like, I know it was really hard to like get me on the phone. Like, you can tell, like, I'm not really on my phone a lot, or like, you know what I mean? I'm not really.
I'm so surprised she showed up, guys. She confirmed yesterday, and then I didn't hear from her for a second today. I was like, shit, she might not. I might just have a meeting with Henry. We might talk about something. I don't even know.
I know, but I'm like.
I'm so glad you came, by the way. But
I'm so happy to be
Yeah.
here. I'm always just like in the moment of things. So like things that like material things and that like, also okay, so like yeah, material things they don't really like give me what I need from life. But there's this stigma of like I made a post yesterday and it was saying like how we don't have actual like scoreboards as musicians to know when we're actually like winning or losing or what's gonna happen. Like if you play basketball, you know if you're good enough to go to the NBA because
Yeah.
there's stats and things
You know how
like
many
that.
rings you have.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right. You know that type of thing. But like with art, you just keep creating. Like you might have a hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. Like you never really know. So I don't think there's an actual way to judge someone's art. Like whereas, oh, you get this Grammy, but they don't, or like you know what I mean. So it just devalues it from me.
Yeah.
Like shout out to people with Grammys though. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
that's
It's just not a goal for me.
But and do you think that you're kind of relaying the like subjectivity of art? Like objectively, if I play Henry in basketball and I whoop his ass, which obviously would happen,
Whoa.
I would be the winner versus like subjectively
There's
if
no
I make a
definite
song
winner.
and
Right.
Henry makes a song,
One
his will
person
probably
can
be
have-
better.
One
but-
person can hate it, one person can love it, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everyone's ears are literally like their fingerprints. They're very unique. Everyone's ears are different, so we literally hear things differently. So I can't tell you that this song is better than this song. I can say it's different. I can tell you how it differs from that song. Like, oh, they use different instruments and things like that, or like you know what I mean. I can probably explain to people why they like something, but I can't say something is better or worse.
Yes.
So I don't think trophies.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? But I get it. You need trophies to make people compete. Yeah, whatever. Capitalism.
Got to justify your existence
Right.
as a creative.
But like,
Yeah.
there's no way
With those
to me.
plaques.
Yeah.
But like the recognition and stuff is cool, and like having people like throw you love and good energy is cool. But just like the actual like getting trophies and trying to like tally and keep score and things like that has never been like a fun game for me.
Did you ever play sports?
I actually played hardball when I was younger for some reason, and I was like really good at it. I was like super fast.
That's not what I expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting her to say, hell no, I've never picked up a ball in my life.
Yeah,
That's
like
interesting.
or like a normal
volleyball and
sport.
stuff, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like, are you competitive though? Do you want to be the best, or
No.
like not even really? No.
I've never cared to be the best at anything. I just like having fun. And then it's just like when you happen to have fun with it, you're more comfortable. So you do end up making things that people aren't making. Or you know what I mean? Like you do end up doing things that people aren't doing and other people find it interesting. So,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've never tried to be the best at anything ever. What kind of pressure?
Yeah.
70 people.
That's so interesting. That's very I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. Well, something you do need to try and be the best at is this final segment of the One More Time podcast. So put your competitive hat on. Buckle up. Strap your boots.
Ashley,
New boots.
this is the Rapid Fire Rampage. So if you haven't seen the show before, it's a 3-part rampage. Okay, we're gonna start with some short answer questions.
Okay.
We're gonna do some this or that's. I'm gonna give you 2
this or
choices. You can
that.
pick one. Yep, this or that, classic.
Yep. Hydrate for this for sure.
Absolutely. And then we're gonna do
You're gonna
word
need it.
association. Word association at the end. I'm gonna say one word. You just say the first thing off the top of your head right back at me. Okay. So starting off with the short answer questions.
If I cuss, you'll edit it.
No.
Fuck no, we're not editing that shit out.
not at all.
Okay.
And actually, there's a question here. We'll get to it. Episode 45 of the One More Time podcast with Ashilee Ashilee. We're going to start off super hot, throw you right into the flames. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I was early. I'm great.
Okay.
It's the first time I've been early.
Not
in
lost.
years. Right, not lost. It's beautiful.
Directionally sound. Yep. There you go.
Netflix approaches you to make a movie about the life of Ashilee Ashilee. Who plays you and who plays the male lead?
There wouldn't be a male lead.
Or female lead.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be one of those either. No, my dating life is so
Or no lead.
absent. But yeah, there'll be like a couple people that'll come in and out, but
For the most part.
Henry and I might make an appearance.
Ain't no Michelle Obama. Who would play me?
I don't know. Michelle Obama would be a pretty cool answer to play you.
I don't know. That'd be crazy.
To age her down a little bit. No offense.
It'd be
Michelle.
cute. It'd be cute to be Zendaya.
Yeah, right? Okay. Yeah,
Okay. Comes full circle, Henry.
That's right. That's what I was hoping for. Anyway, you wake up as a dolphin. What is the first thing you do?
Oh my gosh, I go swimming. What do you mean?
You wake up as God. What is the first thing you do?
Make applesauce free for everybody.
What is that?
I don't even want to know. That's amazing. Just move
I
on.
love applesauce.
So do I.
And then it's like free food. That's the first thing. I can do many things now.
That's the first one, though.
Very first things first.
Free applesauce.
on the earth, like on the house. Everybody.
Jace just wanted to take out peas from fried rice from the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
So they both have terrible first things to do.
They can do more things. That's just the first one.
We're starting.
I don't know. It sounds like it's the most important thing they think. Like not solving world hunger or like homelessness.
Applesauce helps solve world hunger. Free
Facts.
for everyone.
That's
That's
true.
helping.
Free.
That
they,
is.
They would get so tired of it. But anyways, moving on.
Definitely.
Sorry.
I give it 48 hours.
Ashley, if you were an appetizer, what would you be?
Applesauce.
Gee whiz. Right, literally. I'd be like a vegetarian spring roll or something. Like I got it pretty put together, but like when you open it, there's a lot of things going on and it's super colorful.
That was good. That was good.
I like the explanation.
What are 3 ways to use a viola besides playing it?
Besides playing it, you can strike someone with it.
She seems so innocent until this answer.
You can just strike
That's
someone with
definitely
it.
one.
Without playing it, you can like paint it and like paint it on a wall and make it like some cool art piece or whatever.
Great.
Or you can like smash it and use it for firewood if you're stranded.
Fantastic.
Fantastic answers.
Ashley, if yellow is over here and purple is over there, where are you?
I'm where I am. What do you mean?
Perfect.
I'm not following you there. It's okay.
Ashley, you have to delete 3 states. What are they?
Iowa's a state, right?
It is. It's
I
gone.
don't know what they have going on.
Isn't that like right next to Michigan?
It's pretty close, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of it.
I don't know, actually.
Needs more Michigan.
My Midwest geography is so fucked up. I have
Yeah.
no idea where any of y'all are, but
For sure. 2 more?
Nevada.
you don't like Vegas, eh?
I don't know.
Vegas?
Vegas gives me the darkest energy ever. I'm never going back. I would delete Nevada.
Okay.
I don't know
Fair
what
enough.
they have going on. And there's like pyramids. I don't know. We're not going to get into it. What else? Ooh. Oh, no. Weed is legal there, so we should keep that. Oh, no. Something around Texas, but not Texas. Like
Oklahoma?
Like Kansas, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Because we got to
gone.
keep Kansas for the stories. We need something to compare it to.
Oklahoma's one of those too, though.
Ashley, is cereal soup?
Because what is soup? Like I is soup just like things in liquid, or does it have to be broth? I don't think it's soup.
Not soup.
I don't think it's soup.
Ashley,
Is it soup?
you can't second guess yourself now. Moving on. What pisses you off?
I don't like when people are not being mindful and like considerate of others in situations, and especially if they like go out of their way to be inconsiderate to somebody. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
chose that with your time. Wow.
People being not mindful.
Great answer. How many acorns would fit in a Suburban?
Dang. Probably like 3,700.
It's actually probably a really good answer. Final question of the short answer. Ashley, what is your favorite curse word?
It's like y'all fucking talked about this before. Like, what is this? Kind of weird energies going on there.
Okay, I don't know. It's not a curse word, but it's like it's looked down upon to say, but it's sassafras. But
What? Sassafras? Sassafras?
It's looked
That's
down
looked
on?
down upon?
Yeah, because it's like, in heroin and things like that, and people don't really mention it anymore.
How do you use that?
Sassafras. Yeah, how do you use that in a sentence?
I don't know. It's just like, don't give me no sassafras or like maybe.
It's like
Oh my
bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never heard that in my life.
Part 1 of the Rampage.
I learned something new every day. Part 1.
Part 1.
She did great.
That was good. That was
Really
good.
good.
Some really fantastic answers. The speed could come up a little bit. We'll see what happens here on part 2. This is the This or That.
She might add the one more time rapid fire rampage plaque to the wall. You know what I mean?
Add that to the wall plaque.
Yeah.
So when we
So
finally
this is-
do our Hall of Fame.
Move over, Kalani.
This is the one where you say a word and I say what I think about it.
That's the last part.
Oh, okay.
This is this or that. I'm gonna give you 2 choices. You pick one.
Ooh, indecisive Ashley.
That's right. That's not what you want to be here. So buckle up. Lyrics or melody?
Melody.
Viola or vocals?
Viola.
Writing or freestyling?
Freestyling.
Oohs and ahs or harmonies?
Harmonies.
Intros or pre-choruses?
Oh my gosh, pre-choruses.
Home studio or commercial studio?
Depends on what you want to do, but commercial studio because you can do it all there.
Bowling or putt-putt?
Oh, putt-putt, bowling. No way. Hurt your fingers.
I love bowling.
I love both. Salsa or guac?
Salsa.
Drums or flats?
I like them both. Drums. They're easier to eat.
She got so scared at that question. You would have thought you said something. Yeah. It's like choosing my favorite child.
What's drum? I'm like, I like hand drums or cajones? What are you talking about?
Fucking instrumentalist over here.
I feel like I can ask people in Atlanta that, and they know what I'm talking about. So, babies dressed as penguins or penguins dressed as senior citizens?
Penguins, because you don't really have to take care of them. They can like do their own things outside.
Okay. You're not taking care of
Penguins
any
dressed
babies.
as senior citizens.
Yeah, and
Just with like canes
watch.
and
Yeah.
Bald
They'll
spots.
get over it. Yeah.
Detroit or Atlanta?
Detroit,
oh,
hands down.
Wait, that one.
does that mean you're moving away?
No, it just means I love
Good.
Detroit.
Okay.
House
It's warm
party?
here.
I was like, we just met. I'll be so sad.
House party or the club?
House party for sure.
Black and white clothes or colors?
Black and white.
Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
Sweet tea or lemonade?
Mixed together Arnold Palmer. Sweet tea.
Arnold Palmer. IG or TikTok?
Actually, TikTok.
Are you on the talk?
I'm on there. My following isn't big and I don't do many things on there, but it's so informative. I love it.
Oh.
And it's way more than like Instagram is like everyone polishes their pictures and puts them up there with like a caption or like, they only show you the good parts, whereas TikTok is showing you like maybe the offbeat people.
They
or like,
reward the non-polished,
Right,
like the realness.
The realness, right. I like
Yes.
that.
Give up Apple products for life or give up Amazon for life?
Amazon.
Gone.
Apple products are going to give me what I need to buy everything on there anyway.
You have a 90% chance at $100,000 or a 10% chance of $1 million.
90% to 100K because we can learn how to flip that.
That's right. Part 2 of the
It's
Rampage.
a real businesswoman. That was good.
Part 2 of the Rampage. Yeah, improvement.
Much better. She's
heating up.
faster.
She's heating up.
She's getting the hang of this.
It's all going to come down to the word association, and this is where it gets tricky. So, are you ready for the word association?
Yes.
Here we go.
I mean, with words like sassafras, I don't know what the fuck's about to come out of her mouth right now,
Should be good.
to be honest. I'm looking forward to this.
Here we go. Starting with microphone.
Spaceship.
Exactly, Henry.
Great start.
This
It
is
just reminded me of like technology and just like spaceship.
okay. Yeah,
And
sure.
they'll shake the same.
Neighborhood.
Lovely.
Morning.
Oh, a drag.
Gamble.
Don't ever. Or never. I would say that. Yeah, stay away.
Doctor.
Drake.
Nothing wrong with that. That's a great answer.
Why were you embarrassed by that?
Fantastic answer.
We're on a music podcast here, Ashley. Ashley, come on.
Rainbow.
Oh, Lucky Charms.
Trash.
Ooh.
Your beats.
You're about to name. I thought she was gonna name drop.
Boom Bap Beats. I'm like, yeah, I had to stop myself.
Boom bap beats?
Absolutely.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Wow. Okay.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Whiskey.
Don't drink.
Unicorn.
Lovely. Yeah.
Diamond.
Diamond. Useless.
That's a good one.
Stage.
Oh, it's like, what is it?
Anxiety?
Yeah.
Stress.
Overwhelming.
Shitting yourself?
Overwhelmed.
Yacht.
Big.
Lil.
Uzi.
Ping pong.
Games.
Bumper.
Lawsuit.
Yeah,
Okay. I think I got that.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
Oh, what is confusing? Yeah, that's the word for me.
Science.
Love it.
420.
Needed.
Earth girl for real.
After the episode.
Yeah. Super.
Powers.
Ice cream.
Oh, the best. That's 2 words.
That's
That
fine.
works. That works.
You're the only guest that's actually stuck to like trying to do the one word.
Yeah.
Usually they rattle off like
Yeah.
a sentence, but
Oh.
so you're doing great.
Yeah. Green.
Yellow.
Poor green just got flipped on its head. Okay, and the final one. Ashley.
Creative.
Oh, I thought we were gonna.
We thought it was so nice you had to say it twice. Ashley. Come on.
Still a great great way to wrap up the
Yeah.
Rampage. Fantastic.
Amazing
Fantastic
Rampage.
job.
It goes up there, might be in the Hall of Fame. We're gonna
top.
deliberate after this, and we'll get
Yes.
back to you on your plaque. In all seriousness, folks, this has been Ashley Ashilee. Amazing stories. Really,
Seriously.
really
cool perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the way that you approach things, like really intentional about how you like treat other people and how you want to be treated. And I think that that's why people have probably found it so easy to work with you, to be honest. Because some of these people in this music shit are just fucking assholes.
Not mindful. Yeah, and it's just like, well, how?
Yeah. Which, you know, I wish them the best,
Energy
but
is expensive.
I definitely want people like you to win. So thank you again for coming on.
appreciate it.
I know it was, you know, some you know, follow-ups that I had to stay on top of you a little bit.
I'm the worst on phones. Don't tell me I'm the
If
worst.
she leaves you on red, it's really not personal, but
Literally,
Don't take it
just
she
give
did it to
3
me
days.
too.
Just give me 3 days.
Yeah, but
3 days.
in all seriousness, we really, really appreciate you coming on. And Henry, until next week, what are we doing?
Getting the hell out of here.
We getting the fuck out? Peace.
Bye bye.
Pop that shit like one more time. They pop that one more time. Pop that shit like one more time. They pop that one more time. Hop up in that foreign skirt, no. All the homie, this shit tripping, no. Middle finger to the law.